Hello everybody and welcome. And if you remember, a couple of weeks ago I uploaded a video of rockhounding on Lunan Bay and found some beautiful stones. I've polished them all and this is the update today. We're going to show you what they all look like polished and roughly what each one is. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see. Okay. Well, let's start with a couple of things that didn't come from that beach at Lunan Bay, but which were in the same polishing batch. And this is a nice piece. It's like mudstone, it's sedimentary, and it's polished beautifully, isn't it? Sedimentary stone of some kind. But isn't that bizarre? Amazing to get a stone like that. I thought you might like that. That's a pretty one. These were a striped or a banded stone which I found. This was actually out in the hills somewhere. But look at the colouring. There's greens and beiges and browns and almost like an orange in there. It's like an orange look to it. You can see that orange bit in the middle. I just thought that was really pretty. So that was one small piece, but then the remaining piece I polished. It's a bizarre shape because that was the shape of the rock, and so I just went with it. But look at that. It's almost like wood, isn't it? It's not wood, but see the way that that banding works there. It looks like wood. So I polished it to within an inch of its life. It's a lovely shine on there. There we go. That's pretty. Now this you'll recognise this. This is septarian. And you see the patterning, the whitey, light-coloured patterning, that's calcite usually. So that's UV reactive. If you shone a ultraviolet light on it, it would respond. Bits of hematite in here. It's quite hefty, weight-wise. It's not a big piece, but weight-wise, it's heavy. So that was found near Alston, near Middleton and Teesdale, in some of the mines up there. That's where I found that. Let's find another piece for you. I think I may have shown this to you before, but here goes. Anyways, it's like basalt, and it's got green feldspar. Now, you don't often find green feldspar, but isn't that just gorgeous? This came from Glenluce Bay. Like I say, these were not found up at Lunan Bay, but I just thought I'd show you these when now they're polished. So you see the feldspar in there is all green. And the host rock, the dark blacky green colour, is basalt. But you don't often get green feldspar. Just thought I'd show you that. Now we'll move on to the Lunan Bay ones. So start with this one here. This is Scottish jasper. It's what I'd call spiderweb jasper. It's very delicate shade of green, but it's a pretty stone. Again, high polish like jasper always does. Okay. And this is like a conglomerate, really. So look at the huge chunks of feldspar in there. You can almost see the way the mud, the sediment, billions of years ago, has been flowing, and how it's cooled in the face of the rock. Okay. Okay, this piece is like quartzite. It's got hematite in it as well. It's just quite a pretty light shade. See, when you've got a large amount of quartz in them, they polish beautifully. So that's that. And then this piece here. Now this was the piece that had epidote. So the green in it, you can see all this, that's epidote. Bit of white quartz there. It's very pretty, isn't it? There's hematite in there as well. But that's epidote. And epidote is the green that forms the basis of unakite. Green and orange. The orange would be feldspar in that. All right. And this piece is a mixture of feldspar, quartz, and basalt. So the orange you see is feldspar. The black is basalt. And that's come out really well. That polishes really nicely, beautifully, that does. You can't remove the imperfections. I mean, you can grind it till it's absolutely baby bottom smooth, but the stone loses its character. So stones are by nature imperfect, but perfect in their own way. There we go. Now this was my absolute favourite. This is just a bundle of joy. It's subtle green, serpentine, quartz, black tourmaline in there. And this is just pretty. And if you like these rocks, if you like these stones, you could go to my Etsy shop. I have an Etsy shop, same name as this channel, The Crystal Echoes. And I have those and some pendants on there as well for sale. If you were interested. There we go. Isn't that beauty? That's polished really nicely. Really pretty. This is often nicknamed haggis stone, but it's really a conglomerate. It's got pale pink feldspar, it's got quartz in it, and it's on basalt. You can actually see brown. There's little bits of brown in there, which some of it is smoky quartz. If it's translucent, some of it is. But that's a pretty stone. When it's polished, it looks nothing. It looks dull and miserable when it's just found in the dirt, but once it's polished, it brings it to a life of its own. Okay. These are just lovely. Look at these. So the black in this is tourmaline, black tourmaline, of which there is absolutely loads where this came from, and white quartz in black tourmaline. And it's got little sort of druzy pockets here. It does have lots of little imperfections and things, but that's nature. Isn't that gorgeous colouring? So that's the black in there is like black tourmaline. Okay. This is a very similar piece. I think there's 3 of these, perhaps. 2 anyway. Slightly different the way the banding works. Same stone, it's got black tourmaline and white quartz. Comes up to a gorgeous polish set. So what happens with these is they go for 4 days on 46 grit, which is really, really coarse grit. And then I start the next week, in the next few days, 3 days on 80 grit. And then they go into a vibe tumbler where it's much more gentle, and the rest of the polishing process lasts about 10 days. But they've come out really pretty. Now this is basalt. This isn't tourmaline, this is basalt. But lots of veins of quartz running through it. Slightly different, isn't it, from the other two, which were very mottled all over. This is just veins of quartz running through the black basalt. So where it's slightly yellow, it's iron staining, if it's been near another rock that's got iron in it. Okay. This is another almost black, dark grey. Isn't it beautiful? All tiny little bits of quartz in there. It's very lovely. So this is the kind of stuff sometimes I think that they took to make curling stones with granite-based rock. And the sparkly, shiny bits in it would have been tourmaline or mica. Biotite, in other words. There we are. This was a different kind of rock. It's basically grey, a dark grey. And then it's got lots of black lines in it, lots of them. Black veins of quartz. Quite heavy, but it's almost unnoticeable, the patterning on it. Of course, the fractures, you can't get rid of the fractures. That's just years of being bashed by the universe. Now, this is porphyry, and there is smoky quartz in there. You can see the sort of smoky colours up here and there. When you look closely, it's actually smoky quartz. But you can see the white quartz as well, or clear quartz. This is porphyry, called porphyry. All right, and then this is one of my favourite pieces. This is called imperial porphyry. So you can see the feldspar here. That polishes beautifully. It's called imperial porphyry. That's a lovely, lovely stone. And this was a whole rock, so it looked like that, sort of. And it's split in two. And look at the way the inside shines. It's pretty in its own way. I mean, it's not hugely coloured, but sometimes it's just interesting to see what is inside a stone. And although most people would look at the outside of it and think, God, that's pig ugly. But it's not really, is it? It's got some interesting things in it. And they're almost like crinoids, these little white spots on it. And, you know, for years and billions of years ago, something in there was living. Anyway, there we go. This is like mudstone. Now, I don't know whether you can pick up the colours on here, but this is purple. So I'm guessing there's a lot of manganese in there. And it's like a mudstone. You can almost see the way it's swayed. It's awful stuff to try and polish because it loses a lot in the mix, as it were. It looks as well similar as if it was marble. It's not hard enough for marble. It's quite hard, but not hard enough. But that's the patterning. It's got a gorgeous sheen on it. It's a really pretty, pretty stone. But that sort of purpley indigo. It's really lovely. But what an interesting pattern. Lovely pattern. Okay. And then I have this one, similar type of thing. This is sandstone. Now this never comes smooth. Smoothish, but never highly polished. And you can see the banding that runs through it, which I think is some hematite in there. But a lovely pattern. Really lovely pattern. Very individual. So that doesn't get a high sheen. It has some polish, but it doesn't have a high sheen. It's just the nature of some stones. They just don't polish beautifully. But I think that's very attractive in its own way. So it's a sandstone. All right. And what have we got? Let's look at these. These are nice. Nice. Gneis. Nice, nice. Gneiss. And there's little bits of feldspar. See that? The orange in there is feldspar. And in its little dent in there. And then you've got that lovely banding. That's nice. I tell you what else is nice. Subtle colours. So people who like interior design and they want a neutral room with these type of tones is perfect for them. Isn't that nice? Subtle but pretty. And you'd walk past it on a beach, but when it's polished, it just looks so different. And this one, I thought this was gorgeous. Isn't that amazing? Patterning on that. And look at its bottom. You would think it was wood, but in stone. That's got a lovely polish on that. That's very nice. And this was an odd one. It didn't bring a high polish on it. It's not a particularly interesting stone. I just thought the colours. I mean, people think you don't find very bright stones when you're out, but that's really orange. It's like iron staining in it. It's not feldspar. It's like iron staining, limonite style. Anyway, so I polished it with the rest. This is lovely, isn't it? Serpentine, quartz. All sorts of goodies in there. Comes up with a beautiful polish because of the amount of quartz in there. So slippery, I might drop it. That's lovely. Again, it's quartz banding in there. But sort of like a green, a beautiful green, pale, delicate green. And then this one. It's not a particularly pretty shape. You might say it's an ugly shape, but look at the colours in there. Blacks, greens, quartzes, orange feldspar. Loads of feldspar in there. Look at all that. Look at all that. And then this side. Look at that. I think that's amazing. It feels super, super smooth because of all the quartz in there. But you can see all the indentations in it. And I didn't want to take those down. I didn't want to spoil the patterning. I think if that was sliced, it would make some lovely pendants. But I'm not going to slice this one. I think it's just pretty as it is. Yeah, very good. And some quartz. Quartzite, bits of feldspar in there. Bits of hematite. That's what that is in there. That's hematite. The orange is feldspar. But that's got a lovely sheen on it. Beautiful. All quartz comes out like that. It's just stunning. And then this one. Lots of quartz on that side. It's a panda. I call this a panda rock. It's not its proper name. It's just a rock with quartz in it. But it looks like a panda from a distance. If you closed one eye, you'd think, oh, that's a panda. Well, maybe you wouldn't. Okay, maybe you wouldn't. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Oranges, reds, greens. Lots of the quartz veining. Very subtle. Very, very pretty. Again, big quartz influence there. That's lovely. Okay. And this one is Chalcedony. Chalcedony, whatever you want to pronounce it. I think the purple in there is manganese. Guessing, but I'm assuming that's where it gets its colour from. Simple, pretty, delicate, purple colour. And I've got some more quartzy type here. This is on basalt, I think. Busy with feldspar. Crisscrosses of feldspar. Quartz. Smoky quartz is in there. There's a mixture of a heap of things. Super, super highly polished that. You can see in the reflection. Comes out really nicely. Look at all the quartz in there. It's a conglomerate, obviously. But look at that. Just amazing. It almost looks like snow epidote. But it isn't. It's just quartz in a green stone. I think that's really nice. Polished well. There we are. Isn't that lovely? The greens in that, the banding, quartz in that. It's almost orangey as well. Very nice stone. Very nice indeed. Banded. Beautiful. All right. We're getting near the end of all of these. Now this, when you pick it up on the beach, is pure white. It really is pure white, but once you start polishing it, this is the colour it comes out as. Absolutely amazing, the transformation. So it is lots of quartz in there, but really as a piece I'd call it quartzite. This was pretty. This was a pretty piece. I found this up near the tap, the potato field tap. It's just got a lovely band of quartz running right through it. Not massively interesting stone, it's very subtle, but I just thought it was pretty. Okay, and then, now this is a real mix. Quartz, hematite, that's the purpley, reddy, pinky stuff. There's even rutile in there. There's moss growing in there, all sorts of mossy matter. See that? Strands of stuff, but there are strands of rutile as well in there. You'd think somebody had taken a paintbrush across with the hematite. See that? Isn't that amazing, that? But the depth of this is amazing. When you start looking into the deep quartz in here, you see all the rutile and that purpley colour. Isn't that beautiful? Hematite. Look at that. Pretty, isn't it? And one more on that little group. And this is hematite, heavy, with quartz, jasper. Isn't this just pretty? And it's purplish, this stone. It's quite heavy. Hematite can be quite heavy. It's just different. There's just so much going on in that. Oh yeah. And when you see a stone like that, bit of quartz, all fractured, you think it's a bit ugly. So I take it home and I slice it in half. And that's what's going on inside it. So you can see the veins of lead, they're the dark grey. Little bits of hematite in there. It's quite pretty, the hematite. It's the red. So that's what a boring piece of that looks like when it's cut open. That's what it looks like inside. And that's half the fascination. What's going on inside a stone? And moving on to the granite section, just pale peach. But that's super polished. Tiny pieces of biotite in there. Mica. That is so smooth. I've seen curling stones made of this as well. They usually use Ailsa Craig granite for the curling stones, but obviously it's an island, and that makes it a bit expensive. So they found whatever they could, and with the high quartz content in some granites, they made lovely curling stones. There's one. There's an interesting one. Look at the colour in that. That's tourmaline. You see that black there? Black tourmaline. And then strands of quartz. So some granite has biotite or mica in it, and some has tourmaline. And this area is particularly strong in tourmaline, and you can see it's black tourmaline up there. So if you get little silver flecks of sparkle, and it was like black spots with silver flecks that sparkle on it, that's generally the mica. But this one is tourmaline. That's a granite. And we have another one here. Now, if you would find this in Cornwall, you would call this luxilionite. But this is actually, it's sort of like a peachy granite, black tourmaline in it. And it's a Scottish luxilionite. In fact, they call it Ayrshire luxilionite. But you can see the black tourmaline in there. But the proper name, if it came from Cornwall, it would be luxilionite. That's lovely. And this piece, I actually cut this to, it was a funny shape just because of the nature of the shape of the stone. So it's granite, high sheen, high quartz content, an epidote. And I had to put a flat bottom on it to make it stand out. See the sheen on it, high quartz content. But you see the green, that's epidote. That's really pretty. It's just a pretty, pretty little stone. Back to a lovely, lovely peach, pink, actually, not peach, it's really more pinky, I would say. It's a granite. Now this has got mica and biotite, because you get little silver sparkles. It's not tourmaline. You think it's glinting, and that, like I say, is the mica. But that's a granite. That's like a rosy colour. It's got a peach line through a band through the middle. There's a feldspar band that runs through it, but it's so smooth, and the grain pattern is tiny. It's almost unnoticeable. It just looks like a wash with a paintbrush. It's got some weight about it. And this is your ordinary sort of common or garden granite, but this is a tourmaline granite. Black tourmaline in this. And this you'll find doorsteps are made of this, or stoop as you might call them, are made of this. Building foundations, good old strong stuff this. A lot of Scottish buildings in Aberdeen are made of this granite. Right. And this just had some interesting green banding in it. See the stripes? I think that's epidote. It's not a massively interesting stone, it's just those little green stripes make it interesting. Polish is okay, not a high sheen though. Now I thought this was more interesting than it was, but you've got the dark greens in there. I think it's an interesting stone, but I don't really know what it is. Quartz there. And again, I think that's green jasper. And this is in the little section of jasper stones that I've got, but it's a conglomerate. See all the little bits that are in it? I thought it was interesting. And a really nice big chunk of jasper. Look at that swirling pattern in the quartz there. See white quartz and then fire red jasper in there. Really red, and the host, the dark jasper behind it. Who told you you'd get rocks that colour? You know, you wouldn't believe it, but they're there. And these, just because of the high quartz content, and jasper, it just polishes beautifully. Look at that. What do you think of that? Is that a pretty one? Do you like that? Put your comments in the box below. What are your favourite ones? Which one, what are you drawn to? Do you like the granites, the jaspers? Nice. The quartz? What do you like? Put your comments in the box below if you would, please. Do you have a favourite stone? What is it? Do you find loads of that particular stone where you are? Lots of quartz in there, jasper. It's almost virgin on a carnelian, that, when you look at it. There's so much going on in there. It is a conglomerate of a kind, I think. Hematite found its way into this bag. But there's some lovely red banding in that. Look at that. Okay. She says, dropping it. Again, another highly polished, almost looks like poppy jasper, but these are brecciated because there's so much stuff in them. Brecciated jaspers, jasper and quartz. I love this. This is my favourite. Absolute favourite. Such a good example of jasper. Look at that. And the host stone is purple almost. It's hard to see in the light, but it's like purple. And then the red, the brilliant red jasper on the top of it. Such a tactile stone. Would you give this house room? Do you think you'd manage to find a space for a stone like that? It's pretty. And that's another nice one as well. Look at the goings on in there. There's yellow jasper, red jasper, quartz. That's a proper artist's palette, that. It's like a jasper agate. Big band of quartz there. Do you think I've just taken a paintbrush and painted these? You wouldn't think they're real, would you? But they are. This is what nature provides for us. A lot of quartz in that size. A lot of fractures and pits in this. But you know, it doesn't stop it being beautiful in its very own special way. Right, and the last one. Look how purple that is. High manganese content, and then you see the red jasper. Hematite. It's a mixture of all sorts. So all those white lines, quartz, there's hematite in there, there's jasper in there. It would be very pretty stone to cut open, but I'm not going to cut this one. Nope, this one is too pretty. Look at that pattern. Look at that. Well, that's the final one.
Well, thank you everybody. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that. I need to ask you, if you would please, out of all the people that watch the videos, I'm getting roughly 4% that press the like button or subscribed or shared. It's really important if you could share the video. YouTube likes us to share, and when you do that, it helps with their algorithm. And it's a lot of work to put together if you're not going to just press that like button at the bottom. It's there. It's very simple. One click, if you would please. It's just down there. I really appreciate it. So thank you, my friends. Thank you. Until next time. Good, happy rock hounding. Okay. Bye for now.